Hey, what is up, guys? Till Monday here, back with another video for you. Today, I'm talking about the new Star Wars The Old Republic expansion, which is coming out in spring this year. So pretty damn soon, really. Quite short notice on their part. But yeah, I'm just going to tell you what I think we should expect, really. They haven't really given us a lot of information yet, so, it's really open for speculation, but there's definitely a lot of things BioWare need to do in the game, and I'm just going to express to you what I feel those things are. So first of all, let's get some information about the expansion. What are they bringing in? What's new? Well, thing is, we really don't know too much, but what we do know is the level cap is getting increased to 55. So that's 5 new levels. There's a new planet called Makeb. The expansion is very heavily story orientated around the Hutt Cartel. The individual class storylines will all revolve around the Hutts and sort of fighting the Hutts, all taking place on this new planet called Makeb. And that's really all we know. There's literally no other information being given, just very small amounts, like some little bullet points. That's about it. But a lot of you probably think, well, if it's due out in spring, why isn't there a beta yet? Because there actually isn't. There is going to be no beta. They might, they might do like an open beta weekend, like before it comes out or something. But there's going to be no closed public beta. There is a beta, but it's for hired professional beta testers and Q&A testers. So I think that's a good thing, really. Hopefully, we'll get a really polished game when it comes out, and maybe there won't be any massive fucking memory leaks that we end up getting stuck in for 2 days, like the TARDIS memory leak when the game first came out. Yes, BioWare, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so hopefully with that beta testing program, hopefully the game will work very well and be really polished, and hopefully these QA testers will have provided some really nice feedback to BioWare on how they can improve the game. But here we go with the main part of the video. What should we expect from PvP and PvE? As you know, EA has really bottlenecked the progression of the game. There should have been many improvements being made. There should have been many things released that, well, they said would be released, but just nothing has come. Nothing has come of it. There's been mistake after mistake after mistake. And honestly, we know BioWare are good developers. We know EA is a shit publisher. So I'm gonna blame EA. I love BioWare. They're my favorite company, and I'm not just defending them out of fanboyness, but they they they're a good company. They're a good game developer. One of the best. They got some of the best games ever made under their belt. But EA, as we know, are just a money hungry twat at the moment. They're a nuisance in the game developing world, and I wish that they would go bankrupt. Which they will if they keep this up. That's inevitable. But yeah, they just sort of say, nope, you can't do that. You can't do that. There has to be this and there has to be that, and everything's revolving around money and all this nonsense. And that's all because of EA. I'm well in support of BioWare wanting to go free to play, but the impression I get is that BioWare wanted to take it, really free to play, but then EA were just like, no, that you can have some free to play content, but the vast majority of it has to be paid to play. There's no way that you're making it, a complete free to play game. But anyway, I'm a subscriber no matter what. But as I was saying, there should have been a lot more improvements to PvP and PvE. PvP was just, thrown open world out there and war zones, and that was it. And there's been very little in the way of improvement since. There's this team nonsense for war zones, which is nothing special. The open world is completely dead, and open world PvP is an area of PvP that's really, really open for innovation. Really open. They could just evolve the PvP completely around open world, and I would be satisfied with that. Think about, say, a PlanetSide 2 style of PvP system implemented into an MMO. And with Star Wars, that could really happen. They could just implement a new planet, which is completely open world PvP, but it's massive in scale. And it's just completely territorial between the Empire and the Republic. I think that could work. And you could just you could have your guild, and if you go to this planet as your guild, you gain rating and reputation as a guild. So not as a PvP team, but your guild has a PvP rating that advances. the more objectives you do, the more you do as a guild in this open world area. You could even maybe claim territories as a guild in this area. So you got a territory specifically for your guild, which is sort of what you see in EVE Online. You have guild-owned areas and such. That would be a really awesome PvP system, and I'd really, really like that. It'd be extremely competitive, especially if you had, guild-owned territory and you could fight. Even if Empire versus Empire fighting each other for their own territory, that would make sense, being that they are the Empire. But that could really work. But anyway, I'm going to jump on to PvE now. I'm not a PvE player, so in terms of what I can think of, I can't really think of too much improvements for PvE, but at the moment we do have just a very generic style PvE system, which is nothing special. It's alright, I suppose. It provides a decent challenge at a certain point, but it's nothing new, it's nothing innovative. I mean, it's not going to make people quit other MMOs to come and check out Star Wars' PvE, because they can get that in another MMO, which they're already paying for, or they already have a max level character. So they're not going to jump over, are they? But it is just a very basic PvE system that is nothing new at all. And the PvP and the PvE are the things that make an MMO, not this casual RPing crap. The vast majority of players are PvP and PvE players. Yeah, sure, you can tailor to RP, but in the same way that you should be tailoring to PvP and PvE, there should be a nice split between all of them. If anything, the vast majority of the focus should go towards PvP and PvE, because they are far more popular than RP. But right now, what we see is just mainly cosmetic stuff being added, new quests, new story, and it's all RP. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually like the story. I like my character's story as the Imperial Agent was really good. It was full of controversy and conspiracies, and was genuinely quite interesting. I like Mass Effect. I like the Knights of the Old Republic games. So I like the story that BioWare does, and I did enjoy my character's story. But you're putting too much focus into it. It's an MMO. You can't just rely on that story. Once that's complete, where do you go from there? Do you just create a new character? No, it doesn't work like that. It's an MMO. People don't like grinding through levels all the time, regardless of whether there's an interesting story or not. You need to focus on PvP and PvE. You need to improve the systems. You need to listen to what your community is saying rather than what your publisher is saying. You need to tell your publisher to fuck off and get on with creating a good game. EA suck. We're well aware of that. They proved that with the release of Origin and the supporting of SOPA. I've ranted about this in other videos, so I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, that is pretty much, I suppose, what we need. What we need to see from BioWare in the upcoming expansion. If BioWare need to delay it, I would be happy if they were to delay the expansion. I'd be happy if they said, well, we're going to delay it a year, because we know that we're going to see some good shit, perhaps. Hopefully. Hopefully. But we know there'll be EA on the other end pushing them to launch it early, like they did with the initial game, which launched 4 months before it should have, and was therefore incomplete, which is why there was no end game. But yeah, those are my older videos. I won't talk about that again. I'm still quite pissed off about it, but I won't talk about it anymore. But yeah, those are just my opinions, and that's what we know about the Rise of the Hutt Cartel so far. If you'd like to see more Star Wars content, I'll be doing a lot more in the future, especially when this expansion comes out. Leave a subscribe. Always, leave some feedback with a dislike or a like or a comment. It really helps me know. It really helps me find my direction, find out whether you guys like these videos or not. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.